jibber jab, bamboozle, nooka noozle, bippity bop, she-gall. You jibber jab, bamboozle, nooka noozle, bippity bop, she-gall. I mean, you keep on talking, but you don't know where to turn it.
Welcome to the weekend. I'm Jon Caldara, president of the Independence Institute. You're watching Independent Thinking, and I've been doing this now for, what, 11 years, and finally a topic that I can talk on, booze. Boy, do I finally know someone we're talking about. To talk about all the changes proposed in Colorado booze laws, from up in Fort Collins, the owner of Wilburs, which is a liquor store.
Yes.
I appreciate you being here. Dennis Dinsmore. Good Scots name.
You bet.
But not nearly as good a name as Eric Wallace.
No, it's not.
Who
He's
said
got me trumped.
they can take our lives, but they can't take away our sawtooth beer. Is that right?
They can't take away our beer.
Eric, you started Left Hand Brewery 16 years ago?
1993.
How's business?
Business is pretty good. Been growing steadily.
It's good product. I've got to tell you. Let me make it clear. This is an unpaid endorsement, but Left Hand Brewery from Longmont, great stuff. Sawtooth is a great little micro beer. I love it. And you brought me a nice little sampler here, so I'm looking forward to getting drunk during the show.
So that's the payment for the endorsement.
That's payment for the endorsement. Well, no, it's going to cost you more than that. I'm willing to do this regularly. Just give me the beer.
Excellent.
All right. Let me start over here as I open up this beer. Last year or the year before, there was this big fight about opening up liquor stores to Sunday sales. Mm-hmm. And in fact, there were a lot of liquor store owners that didn't want to do that because, as
I was one of them,
didn't want to do that.
Correct.
You know, in Colorado, you're only allowed one liquor store.
Correct.
And so if you don't have to open on Sundays, you don't have to worry because none of your competitors are open on Sunday. Now, I thought this was a ridiculous law. Nobody's requiring you to be open on Sunday. If you want to take it off, you can take every day off. You can be open up one day a week. You guys fought this law. Why? In my impression, it's a free market. If you want to stay closed on Sunday, stay closed. If you want to be open on Sunday, be open.
Well, the gist of it is that until last year, it was not market driven. Our customers didn't really care if we were open. They simply got used to the fact that we weren't. So we enjoyed a day off. We did all of our cleaning, waxing our floors, staff meetings, enjoyed a day with our family. But over the years, things have changed. The market was driving it, saying, Sunday's a big day for us. We want to go shopping. So I was a little like a cat coughing up a fur ball. I fought it for about 32 years, and all of a sudden I'm looking at the market saying, I'm stupid. If my consumer wants me to be open on Sunday, then I need to be open on Sunday. So I was one of the ones that, although I didn't want it, fought for it.
You want to be open. And that's the bizarre laws of Colorado. I want to get into those laws because I don't think people understand how protected this market is and also how limited this market is. For instance, if you want to open up a second store, if you want Wilburs to someplace and you want to open up in my hometown of Boulder, you can't do it.
Correct.
Now, if you owned a dry cleaner, you could do that, or a bagel shop, or an ice cream store, or anything else in the world. But why is it you're only allowed one liquor license?
Well, it really goes back to the laws when we came out of Prohibition. The reason that they did a lot of what they did was to keep organized crime out of it. Organized crime, obviously, in the Roaring '20s, they were very deeply involved in it. They came out with a set of laws that simply made it a little bit harder for any organization to take over a market and left it up to the individuals in the market to do their own marketing, their own stores, their own whatever, but kept that big, supposedly mafia-controlled entity out of it and put it back in the individual's hands.
All right, bring it over here. By the way, I'm a big Coors fan, too. I grew up on Coors Light that I snuck out of my parents' refrigerator and still enjoy it now. But every now and then I like to indulge in the microbrews. Which one of them am I going to like here?
Are you going to crack one right now?
Yeah, of course I am.
I think you should probably crack either the 400-pound monkey or the Jackman's Pale Ale.
All right, that's...
Because you might doze off by the end of the show if I let you drink the Imperial right away.
Okay, 400-pound monkey IPA, right?
It's an IPA, English-style IPA.
All right, I'm going for it. Now, there's a bill that would allow convenience stores to sell full-strength beer. And both of you are against this, I'm assuming.
Correct.
All right, let's bring it over here. If I'm buying booze and I can buy your beer, or I can buy my Coors, or buy my Killian's Red, which I really enjoy, or Blue Moon, I can go to your store on Sunday, I can buy it. Why is it a problem if I want to buy it at a convenience store?
Well, House Bill 1186.
Which one do you guys want, by the way?
I'll have the Blackjack Porter.
All right, I'll work on this.
All righty.
See if my talents from college still work.
House Bill 1186 is an effort from the convenience stores to be allowed to sell 3-2 beer, or full-strength beer instead of 3-2 beer. And they're basically seeking redress over a bill, and I don't even know, it was a couple of years ago, that allowed the grocery stores to sell gasoline below cost. So they've basically come up with this method of addressing that problem, because now they're competing against grocery stores selling gasoline below cost, and that was one of their big money makers. So they think that they can make up some of that margin by selling full-strength beer. The reason the brew...
Well, that's good. You sell full-strength beer. Which one of these did you want? The porter?
The porter.
All right. So you sell full-strength beer.
Yes, we do.
They may not choose to put your micro product in their shops.
Well,
you want more companies selling your beer, don't you?
We would love more companies selling our beer, but one of the strange things that has developed in Colorado, and every state has very unusual liquor laws. Colorado is by no means the most unique or the strangest. I can give you some very weird examples. But
here you go.
But
enjoy.
Thank you.
Don't do it on camera. They get very touchy.
Alrighty. When we started off 16 years ago, and since Prohibition, there's been a regulatory structure: one owner, one license, and everybody that started up a business since Prohibition in the alcoholic beverage business was aware of those rules, and those were the rules in place. And the market, strangely enough, has developed where you have one of the most competitive beer markets in the country, and that has resulted in 114 craft brewers operating in the state right now. That has resulted in the best selection off-premise of any beer market in the country, and it's resulted in the lowest prices to the consumer of any market in the country. So this weird structure has actually led to this enforced competition that's really benefited your manufacturers, your brewers of beer, and created the best
so
beer
you're saying
market
that
in the country.
This weird regulation, and this is a bizarre regulation. Now, you can only have one store. I want you to have as many stores as you want. I want there to be open access to the marketplace. I'm a free marketeer. This business should be no different than selling gasoline. It should be no different than selling tobacco. It should be no different than selling anything else. As long as I play by the rules, you should be able to open up as many stores as possible. If there was a proposal that would allow you or anybody else to have multiple licenses to sell, I'm assuming you would be supportive of it.
Well, it's interesting if we're talking theory. In theory, yes. If it was everybody was on the same playing field and everybody got to do the same thing, and it was a real free market, that's not a bad deal. There would be a quantum shift in the way business is done. There would be a tremendous amount of jobs lost in small businesses, independently owned small businesses gone. Okay. The reason is these little people that bought these stores at fairly large dollars because they bought a license that was a restricted license, and they got a space next to a King Soopers that didn't sell alcohol, so they pay a huge amount to be where they're at and to have that license.
To make it clear for those people listening, if you haven't been out of state, if you wanted to buy a beer in King Soopers or a Safeway or whatever, Kroger's in any other state, usually there's an aisle full of booze. Now, they probably don't have the selection of a large liquor store. They might have the selection of a small liquor store, but it's convenient. And over time, we've seen that supermarkets, for instance, have it used to be that you'd go to the butcher. You go to the guy who sells the vegetable. You go to the baker. You'd go to the bank. Then you'd go to your neighborhood pharmacy. And somebody came up with this great idea. Wait a second. We live in a competitive world. I can get a competitive advantage if I start squeezing all this stuff in the same place. Now we go to a supermarket that has a florist, a butcher, a baker, a pharmacist, a bank, a movie rental place, and all that's fine. Why the hell can't we be like most other states and let me buy my Coors at
Sure.
there?
Back to what you're saying, if they actually took everything away and started all new with a new set of laws,